and welcome back to Tab Storytime Space. How do y'all like that? I think that's what I'm going to start calling this. Tab Storytime Space. It's got a nice little ring to it. All right, so I asked the IG because I needed to get approval to make sure that y'all want to hear this story. And pretty sure I still got 100% on that. So let's talk about it. The time that my ex wrecked my car. What leaded up to it? What led up to it? That was embarrassing, y'all. What led up to it? What I learned? What advice can I give the ladies that deal with toxic men? All of it. So, let's get into it. So, I would say I was between the ages of 18 and 20. I don't know exactly because, baby, that if you have been in your early 20s, you know 18 to 20 is bumping your head on every freaking thing in sight. And that is what that time of my life was for me. When I left high school, baby, I left with a bang. And as far as stepping into adulthood, I started it off with a bang. I did every wrong thing that I could possibly do. Everything. It didn't matter. If it was a wrong thing that could be done, I was doing it. So, let's go back right before I started talking to this man. And what led up to that should have given me everything that I needed to know that this relationship wasn't ordained. It was not supposed to happen. So, first off, one huge piece of advice that I can give y'all, whether you're in your early 20s or you're just living life and being turned. My suggestion is please don't, doo-doo where you eat as far as canoodling with coworkers. Coworkers, bosses, anything that's going to provide you, anybody that is in a space that's going to provide you with the necessities, money, giving you shelter, food, and water. If it's got to do with that, don't do it. And if you have a roommate, for example, canoodling with your roommate is another example of doodling where you eat. If y'all are just roommates and are not moving in together because you're boyfriend and girlfriend, keep it roommates. If y'all want to date, find separate homes and start dating like normal people. Because if you live together and you start dating, you're screwed. If you work together and you start dating, you're screwed. Once y'all break up, no matter what it's for, somebody's going to feel some type of way. Somebody's going to be hurt when they see the other person. Somebody's going to go to work and start yapping. And somebody going to make somebody else look dumb. They going to turn the coworkers against each other. All sorts of nasty stuff going to happen, baby. It ain't even worth it. And I had to keep learning this lesson when I was younger. And I was working at this specific job. It was a factory job. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give any more details because that whole time of my life was something. Anywho, so first, before I even started talking to this man, I was talking to a different guy at the job. And, another thing, don't do. Don't date multiple people at the same place. Especially if they work together. Like, don't be a serial monogamous with your coworkers. It's not a good look. It starts to make you look, as a female, If you know, you know. So, anyway, at that time, yeah. I had just stopped talking to this boy. I'm not going to call him a man. He was a boy. I was a girl. I was young. He was young. I think I was probably 19 and I think he was 19. So we was the same age. And y'all, like, I just had no business dating this boy. If you date and the man or woman that you're dating likes to play fight, I don't think that it's a good idea to continue to be with that person, because a play fight can very easily turn into a real fight. And I'm not saying that's what happened, not whatsoever, but I hated the play fighting thing. I don't like getting wet willies. I don't like you fake slapping me, fake doing this, fake doing that, messing with me, touching me. If you're not going to give me hugs and kisses, I don't want you to touch me for real, for real. Like, what are you? I don't like all that, because I start to get mad, and now I almost want to I almost want to take it there. And I'm not that type of girl. So I don't even like being put in positions where I start to feel a type of way. So basically, he was that type of guy, and he had put his hands on my then best friend. And when he was messing with me and play fighting with me, it was not, I didn't like it, but it was cool enough for me to put up with it. But you touch somebody else that I'm involved with, that I'm close with, we're over. We're done. So I broke up with him, and I already had, my next victim. I already knew who I wanted to talk to after that was over with, and I won't say that also did not play a hand in me being willing to break up with this boy as soon as he did something dumb. I was, I had my eye on somebody else. So me and that person, we're going to call him Coca-Cola for namesake, because he loved him some Coca-Cola, if you know what I mean. And Lord. So anyway, so Coca-Cola and I, we had our eyes on each other, and I told him that I had a boyfriend at the time, and he didn't really respect it. So keep that in mind. Huge red flag. If you tell someone you're with somebody and they are like, "We'll leave them," or "F that man," and all this and that, it's likely they don't have much respect. And if they don't respect each other as men, I don't know how he gonna respect you as a woman. But anyway, he like, "Leave your man," whatever. And I remember I'd gone back to work probably the day after I broke up with the boy, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm single now, so what's up?" Being young and dumb, ready to literally move the next day into something else. Don't ask me why, y'all. I was trying to live my best life. So we start talking. Within a few days, we set up our first kick it, and we supposed to hang out, and I'm gonna call it blow some trees. And basically, before he had came over to my house, an ex had called me, and he had asked me, "Hey, can you help me?" Sorry, y'all. "Can you help me with a work project?" And I'm being for real, y'all. He really asked me if I could if I could look at a photo, and it wasn't that type of photo. It was literally a work picture. If I could look at the photo and I could tell him what it made me think. That was it. That was the whole conversation. He sent the photo. I told him what it made me think. We were done with the convo. He had called me in the middle of us talking on the phone about the work photo or whatever. And I had told him I was going to call him back or whatever. I hung up. I answered the phone. He said the Coca-Cola was on his way. I told him, "All right, cool. Let me know when you pull up." I hung up with him, finished the conversation with my ex, and boom, that was that. Again, I haven't talked to this person. The ex that I was on the phone with, I hadn't talked to in years. There was not any chance of us being anything again. It was over. It had been over for a while, and there was no, even thought in my mind to even, you know what I mean, explore that. Because although I might have jumped a little bit, when I was into somebody, I was into them and only them. I wasn't talking to multiple people at a time. There was really no reason for me to do that. Like, when I would be into somebody, I would be like all about them. So I like this guy. So there was really no reason for me to act like that. Mind you, all this explaining comes for a reason because it's gonna get us to the end. But anywho, Coca-Cola shows up, we hang out, we blow the trees or whatever. He goes home. Did he? Yeah, he went home. We saw each other the next day at work. And, like, I guess the chemistry was there. And, he had looked good too. So I was like, okay, like, you dressing a little extra today. And you looking a little extra nice today. So I like that. Like, and after work, we had planned to hang out and, get to know each other some more. So, our first week talking, I want to say went from like chill, normal talking stage to like moving way too fast. Like, next thing I knew, he was always staying at my house. Next thing I knew, like, he would drive us to work in my car because his car was messed up. Like, things just got going. Things move very fast with that. Huge red flag. If things are moving super fast, slow down. Figure out for a second, why are things moving so fast? I know with like women loving women situations, things move fast and things also tend to get toxic as well, in my experience. So that said, things were moving fast. Of course, young and dumb me has no perception of that. No understanding that that's not normal. It's not good. Next thing you know, he's using my phone because his phone's broken. Like, throughout the day, we switching my phone back and forth as if he's paying half my bill or something. We're switching my phone back and forth because I'm young and dumb, and I'm very, not only am I naive, but I'm very generous at this point in my life. Like, if you ask me for the clothes on my back, I'd give them to you more than likely. Just cause you wanted them. I don't need them. I don't know. It was a very selfless time in my life, and I thought that was healthy and good for me. But guess what? That don't get you very far in life. So anyway, that was going on, and I want to say within like 3 weeks, we got to a point where it was almost like we lived together. We had a routine. We would leave work. We would go to the hood. We would kick it out there. He would do whatever he was doing. I don't know what he was doing. I didn't really care. I just wanted to be in his space. He would drive my car. I would sit in the passenger seat. I would mind my business, smoke my trees, do my thing on my phone or whatever. He would, do whatever he was doing. And at the end of the night, we would go back to my house. We would go to work. And then we would repeat that same process every day. Well, one day, this man, I guess he decided to go through my phone. Because I remember the night prior, somebody had called me in the middle of the night. And this was the first time that I had ever seen even a glimpse of like, oh, this man is crazy. So this man had called me in the middle of the night. Mind you, this is somebody that I had talked to prior, and we hadn't talked in a long time. So he calls my phone at a crazy hour. And I'll be honest, if I would have seen that and we were in our situation, I would have been upset too, but I wouldn't have like flipped shit. Because it's like, what do you have control over what somebody else is doing on your phone? If I have your phone half the day, at what point do you even have time to be sneak texting or calling somebody? Mind you, we are together pretty much at all hours of the day. At what point do you really have time to call anyone or text anyone or be, you know what I mean, like involved in a cheating type of situation? As if he asked me to be his girlfriend or something. That's not what it really would have been. But at the time, I think we dating and we dating or whatever. And Mind you, the Coca-Cola use was definitely a concern. It was a problem. But I didn't really have too much of a say in that. You know what I mean? I'm young. I'm like 18, 19, 20. He's 27. So that's another part of the dynamic that also kind of makes it a little like this is the exact type of situation that a young girl would get themselves into, getting with an older guy. And that's another reason why I want this to be a precautionary tale to those of y'all that are young and dumb, or just dealing with toxic men, or just dealing with people, I don't know, even men that just do like ridiculous amounts of Coca-Cola or other sodas, if you get what I'm saying. Just it's like it's dangerous. It's not like I'm smiling, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous and it's scary. So please, if you are in these situations, be wary, because you can really like these men will take you up out of here sometimes. And it breaks my heart when I hear things like that. So just pay attention to the warning signs. Pay attention to all the signs that I'm telling y'all about now that I did not pay attention to, because I could have saved myself a lot of money and a lot of heartbreak. But anyway, he basically had approached me about like, why is this man calling you like at 3 in the morning? I'll just say it was 3 in the morning. I'm like, I don't know. I'm asleep just like you. You have my phone more than I do. You would know better. Have y'all been talking? Like at this point, that's like where I'm at, because I'm like, I don't know. I'm almost starting to feel set up by the way that I'm being came at as well, because it's very aggressive. It's very like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like just treating me like I'm a 304 or something like that, and I really was not that at all. I might have, you know what I mean, done what I did at the job and moved on from one person to the next, but like I wasn't just out here, loose with it. Like if I talk to you, I'm only talking to you, which was the situation with him. So he's questioning me. He's very accusatory, and then eventually, like, I blocked the guy because I just was like, it's not even worth all this. I'm like, I'm gonna block him. Like, screw it. I don't got time for this. I think at one point he even had asked me to call this man and basically act as though I had no clue. Like, basically he wanted to figure out if I was talking to this man behind his back by a phone call. And he got mad at me because he felt like I prompted the phone call. Like I was feeding enough into the conversation to let that person know that he was on the other end listening to see if it was genuinely me not knowing what he called me for and what was going on, or if I was lying about it. Like he would do little tests like that, and I hated that. Hated it. So after he had done that, I started to catch on like, ooh, this might not be good. I might have to like start planning my escape. So another day, I think that same evening, like later that evening. So first thing in the morning, he approached me with it. Then that evening, I don't know why my stupid self gave him my phone back and allowed him the opportunity to look through my messages and everything. But I also didn't think that there was anything for me to have to hide, because mind you, anything that was in my phone was from prior to me and him even talking. And I figured that was understood. Like whatever you see from before I was even dealing with you, you have no reason to trip about. But he approaches me one day and he's like, who's this? Y'all remember the conversation that I had told y'all about with the ex, about the phone, or not the phone call, about the job thing, about the picture, look at it, see what you think about it, all that. So he's like, who is this? I'm like, I mean, that's somebody that that I used to date a while ago. Why? And he's like, why was you texting the same day that I came over to your house? And I'm like, I don't actually, I told him exactly why. He asked me about a work situation, and I answered the question, and that was that. And he was like, At one point I had tried to call you right before you answered the phone and it went to voicemail. So you was on the phone with him. What was y'all talking about? And I'm like, I just told you what we was talking about, and I didn't even get the first phone call. I only got the second one, and I answered as soon as you called. So what? So he's just like, nah, like it sounds like having relations with him. And I'm like, huh? Him? From years ago? I'm like, you read the conversation, right? He's like, yeah, but like I don't know what y'all was saying on the phone. And I'm like, what do you mean? The pictures and text message and I just explained to you what the phone call is. And anyway, that was the first day I ever like invited you to my house. I didn't know that I was in a relationship that day. And he's just like, oh, he starts tripping. Next thing I know, he's, drinking a lot of Coca-Cola, and we're out in his area, and he starts asking me questions about that night that we had the conversation on the phone. And I'm answering the questions, and I don't know what like ticked in him, but he basically looks at me and he's like, every time you lie to me, I'm going to damage part of your car. Mind you, he's in the driver's seat, I'm in the passenger seat. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, damage part of my car? Lie? Who's lying? He's like, you're lying to me. And every time you continue to lie, I'm going to damage your car. And I'm like, don't do that. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I'm telling you everything that happened. There's not much more to it. And he just gets to going on this like wild line of questioning. Like, have you had relations with him? Have you set up a situation to have relations with him? Have you this? Have you that? All these crazy questions. Obviously, all the answers are no, but that's not good enough. Everything I say is a lie. So every time I say anything, he punches my radio, busts my radio out. So at this point, I'm like, ooh. I'm not a angry person. I don't have a weapon. I don't have nothing to protect myself. All I can do in this moment is sit there and I don't know. I don't feel as though if I do anything aggressive, it's going to get me anywhere because you're punching my car already. All I need is for you to look at me and punch me in the face. This is a strong, just got out of prison man. Like, this ain't no little, like, no, this ain't a situation where I'm going to win. So my car gets damaged. Every time that I say anything, he's punching my radio. He's punching my interior lights. Like, you get the lights that you press the buttons on, punching them out. He busted my interior lights, busted my radio. And was that it? Oh, and like, the knobs that y'all have where you can turn the heat on and off. He's busting them out too. I'm like, oh, this man is nuts. And I'm like, yeah, now it's about that time. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to have to do to get up out of this situation because this is sick. So I'm like, take me home. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home. I'm done. I don't have nothing else to say. I am done with this whole situation. Take me home. So he takes me home, and I'm thinking, I'm plotting in my head, but I can't say too much. I can't do too much on my phone. I'm thinking about getting a hold of my dad. I'm thinking about all this stuff. But then I'm thinking about the repercussions of doing these things. So at this point, I'm just scared, and I'm putting up with it because I have to do something to get out of this without getting beat up and without getting unalived, for real. Because I understand that Coca-Cola makes people do crazy stuff, especially when they feel like somebody's playing with them. So I gotta pause because I have a date to go on. So I'll be back, y'all. I'll be back and I'm going to tell y'all the whole story from that point. But right now, just remember, he's gone on a rampage. He's punched the interior of my car at this point. I'm scared and I got to get up out of here. So what am I going to do? All right, y'all. I'll be back.